Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Nature's Remedy Center. We're going to have another presentation. Today, we're going to talk we are what we eat. We're going to see how look like our blood and what problems we might have with the blood. Because before I explain for you guys that the health is in the blood. Like if you have a clean blood, you're going to have a good immune system and can defeat the disease. But if you eat not well, the blood is going to be dirty and no oxygenation. And then you get sick because you're going to have a lot of inflammation on the blood. And then it's a bad for disease. So really, we are what we eat. You eat good, you healthy. You eat poorly, you're going to be sick. And also the drink, the water. Hydration is very, very, very important. So here we're going to see a test. The next one, an adequate diet. So this is from Ellen G. White book, Consensus on Diet and Food, 136. In order to have a good health, we must have a good blood, for the blood is the current of life. See how important it is? If you don't eat well, it's no life. Sooner or later, we fade away. It eliminates the waste and nourishes the body when supplied with a proper food elements and when cleansing and vitalized by contact with pure air. So it's not only the food, but we need to walk and we have to have fresh air too. It carries life and vigor to every part of the system. The more perfect the circulation, the better will be this work will be accomplished. That letter was written in 1905. So, Consensus on Diet and Food. The next one, when is right, when is wrong to drink water? Like, for example, here we see from the same book, Consensus on Diet and Food, in 1884, food should not be washed down. So people say that they cannot eat because they need the water to swallow. We don't need the water to swallow the food. What we need is to drink the water 30 minutes before, like even 4 cups of water, 30 minutes before. If you do that, you're going to have enough gastric juice to do your digestion. And then when you sit down to eat, you have to no phones, no TV, pay attention what you're doing and chew the food 31 times. And why we have to chew the food very well while we are eating, then you don't need water to wash down because the saliva will mingle with the food. And before the food goes down to the stomach, is very well like smushy because the stomach doesn't have a teeth. So you have to do that work at the mouth. And plus, if you eat quickly or swallow the food, you're going to have a lot of parasites because the saliva is the first one to kill the parasites. So yeah, especially men and children has to tendency to eat fast, but we need to teach them to slow down and really chew the food. And so the more liquid there is taken into the stomach with meals, the more difficult it is for the food to digest. For the liquid must first be absorbed. Think about like your stomach is like a machine that is washing your clothes. Before you put it in the dryer, needs to take all the water out and turn around to make each dry. So the stomach is the same thing. Like he needs to pull all the water down and then it starts going around. So the stomach is the same principle. So and more water you put it, more you delay digestion because the stomach needs to pull all the water out. But when you drink the water 30 minutes before, even 4 cups of water, the water stays on your stomach only 10 minutes. And plus, you're going to have awesome digestion. Never take tea, coffee, beer, wine, or any spiritual liquor. Water is the best liquid possible to cleanse tissue. Next one. So here we're going to see the bloods when it's proper hydrates. Like for example here, isotonic. Here the water is coming out of the red cells, and here too much water is rupturing the red blood cells. Okay, so here's too much water is dropped in the white blood cells, and here's the normal way. Look, isotonic, and here is hypertonic. So that's mean is probably you drink too much like sodas or something, and and the water is coming out of the red cells, not in. Next one. So here we saw that after eating correctly and drink your water correctly, one thing that's essential is breathe deeply. Superficial breathing causes the blood to move sluggish. The waste poison matters, which should be thrown off in exhalations from the lungs, and it retain the blood becomes impure. So that's mean we have to learn how to breathe correctly, because if you don't, uh, when you exhale, you're supposed to come out all the waste material from the lungs. And so this is a must learn how to breathe. Like we can do exercise. You can get a balloon and blow like on one blow only, and your hands needs to go around 3 times on the balloon. And when you do that, you can practice daily. You're going to be breathing correctly. Or you can go walk early in the morning when it's winter, opens the lungs too, and will teach you how to breathe correctly. Or you can buy some devices that even Amazon's, you can learn how to breathe correctly, because that's a must. Next one. Here we're going to see some functions of the blood, but we saw in the first slides that Ellen G. White book say that the life is in the blood. So it's very important that you have a clean blood to be healthy. The first function is distribution, O2, oxygen, nutrition, metabolic waste, and hormones. Second function, the blood regulation, body temperature, pH, and fluid volume. And third one is protection. Prevent blood loss, like for example, platelets and clotting proteins, prevents and combats infection, because we're going to see the blood carries some cells that will defend us when we have invaders in our blood, like bacteria, parasites, other things. Now, the next one. So besides the red cells, this is the red cells normal should look like. We have lymphocytes, monocytes, eosinophil, basophil, neutrophil, and platelets. Platelets, for example, the correct amount of the platelet is 150. When you have 250 above, we might have some troubles in the body already. So when it's below 70s, 50s, 30s, we bleed. Like we cannot have surgery, we bleed easily and bruise easily. Like the lymphocytes will defend you from the virus. Like for example, when the lymphocytes is below normal, you have a chronic viral infection. When it's above, you have active viral infection. Monocytes, when they are positive, that means you have Epstein-Barr virus going on. And eosinophil, when it's high, that means you have parasites or allergies going on. And the other two, it's indication of infection somehow. And the white blood cells is produced on the bone marrow and the red blood cells too. And when the white blood cells is very low, so that means your bone marrow has toxicity, so you need to detox, or virus, active virus. So you need to detox to minimal, the white blood cells should be 5.5, and the good number to be 7.5. When you have higher than that, you have an infection, or if you have 100,000, you have leukemia. So it's very important to know how to distinguish those cells, because tells you what problem you might is going on in your body. Next one. And here's some values that I mentioned. So the red blood cells should be 4.5 to 5.5 in male, female 4 and between 4 and 4.9, platelets to the ideal number is 150,000. For 150,000, it's a problem. The person might have cancer already. It's a problem when it's too high. Neutrophils, eosinophil, the best number is below 3. Above 3, if you don't have allergies going on, it's parasites. And then we're going to do one about parasites so you can learn all the signs and symptoms of the parasites in adult and children. And lymphocytes between 24 to 44. So here's it's how more or less. So remember that platelets is the clot. If you have below 75, you can bleed to death, and you're gonna have a lot of bruises. And if it's above I think it's above 250 already, you have some problem going on in the blood. In white blood cell, the awesome number is 70.5. After that is infection, and below that is it's toxicity on the bone marrow. Okay, the next one. And here some lab results. Like, for example, if you have red blood cells low, has been frequently lower over the past few years, probably parasites, because we have a parasite called roundworm. They eat the red blood cells. And another way that you're going to have anemia too, when you're low in iron or low in Bs, or also when you have a heavy periods, when you have a thyroid problem too. You can have anemia. So there is many causes for anemia. Okay, and when you have extremely anemia, you're gonna crave for ice. And then if you look, your nails has a spoon shape, like when they're extremely anemic. And then you can see some kids eating odd stuff called pike. It's iron deficiency too. So we should know all those little things so we can help identify our children or spouse or someone, friends, so you can help them to with the correct supplement.
And they're eating on things like dirt, right?
Yes, the wheat is called pica. Yes, the wheat. It's lack of iron. Okay, ice, when they like to eat ice, is lack of iron. White blood cells has been very low in the past few years. Is bone marrow toxicity. Then they have to detox. Usually I have marrow detox for them, or I give something for virus and then come back. So the optimum number is 5.5. So your white blood cells should be ranged between 5.5 and 7.5. And then lymphocytes, that is very important, because the lymphocytes, when it's, like I explained before, when it's high, you have active viral infection. When it's below, it's chronic viral infection. And then monocytes, when they elevate, means you have Epstein-Barr virus. Like chronic fatigue comes from Epstein-Barr virus, and many other disease comes from Epstein-Barr virus. Eosinophil high, it's above 3, it's parasites. And if you don't have allergies, parasites. Asthma is parasites, is roundworm on the lungs too. Basophil, it's allergies, inflammation when it's high. Neutrophil, when it's high, it's microorganisms, so chemotex phagocytes. So that's meaning when the neutrophil is high on your blood, you have probably a bacterial infection. Platelets high, 400 up, I told you it could be cancer. Okay, so we have to see what is the problem. Could it be cancer, parasite, or bleeding? Usually they are not bleeding. It could be cancer or parasites. Okay, next one. And here, when you have a hemodynamic imbalance, so what causes that? It's improper diet, insufficient water intake, cold or very hot food. Cold extremity causes the blood to produce extreme heat. Like, for example, we have to cover the arms and the legs because if the body is protected here, but my hands are very cold and my feet is very cold, I'm going to create this hemodynamic imbalance. So it's going to create a problem. Improper diets will do that too. For example, the children should be cover the arms and the legs, because if you touch here is warm but the arm is cold and the leg is cold, you cause in your baby hemodynamic imbalance. So it's very important that stay the same temperature on the body. And another thing, when you drink water, should be room temperature. Why not too hot or not too cold? Because the stomach has another job to do. The stomach, before take the water off, needs to warm the water off so it can go in different place, because you cannot receive a cold water in the brain. Like, for example, when you drink something very cold that touches the ceiling of your mouth, you feel like very bad. The same thing, the brain cannot have that cold water. So your stomach is smart. Before take the cold water or hot water, needs to adjust the temperature. Like if you are sick in the hospital and you're giving people like a cold water, a glass of cold water, what are you doing to that person? Is going to get well quickly or not? No, it's not, because the person is sick already. You're making the person waste energy to heat up the water. Or the same thing, giving very hot beverage to them, you make them to waste energy to cool off. Okay, next one. And here is the red blood cells. When they have, it's called macrocytosis. So the cell needs to be on the correct size. The red blood cells cannot be bigger or cannot be small, because if they are, they will cause a problem, like won't oxygenate the body properly. Next, see what causes macrocytosis. The next one. Remember that everything has to do with the diet. Red blood cells more than 7 microns diameter, so it needs to be below 7 to be normal. Symptoms, when the person, so that means the person is not oxygenate the body and the organs, is going to have fatigue, difficult in walking, sore tongue, lightheadedness, depression, tingling on the feet and hands, breathless, cracked lips, impotence, and poor memory when the red blood cells are above 7 microns. Now, next, causes of microcytosis. So the person is lacking vitamin A, B12, C, E, folate, and iron deficiency. That's what causes the red blood cells to be large. They don't have enough nutrition. For example, here in the valley, most of the person doesn't have enzyme to digest B12. They will have elevate on the blood homocysteine that can cause heart attack on them. So they need to have a special B12 that is already with enzymes so they can digest. It's a liver problem too. Another thing is poor diet and digestion, gut leak. So that's mean the gut has a little holes there. When they eat the food, undigested food goes to the bloodstream, and then can cause, like if it's animal product like protein, we call peptides, land in your brain, anxiety and panic attack. So anxiety and panic attack is really not a brain problem, it's a gut problem. Actually, most of neural problems, it starts on your gut, because your gut is the second brain and the first brain. If the second brain is gone, the first one is going to be gone too. Liver malfunction, because I told you the B12 has to do with the liver. Alcohol, usually a person that is alcoholic, they don't eat, so they are deficient on B, and they can be drinking, they forget to eat, so they hours will be deficient on B. And for a person to stop drinking, besides praying, and besides they lacking B3, and they lack B6. Like if they want to stop quitting the alcohol, they can add supplements like B6 and B3, niacin, can help them to overcome alcoholism besides praying too. Another thing that causes microcytosis, some medications and chemotherapy. Chemotherapy enlarges the red blood cell too, because the poison. Uh, and some genetic disorders that we inherit, some genetic disorders of the DNA too can cause that we get from our parents. Next one, microcytosis. Microcytosis, so that means the red cell is very tiny, it's little. And this is the normal red blood cell, and here's and they are tiny, so they cannot oxygenate the organs in the body or the brain. Let's see the next one. Why we have the small red blood cells? So microcytosis, they are smaller than 7 microns, and a person would have symptoms like anemia, chronic illness like heart disease, cancer, stroke, COPD, and diabetes. In order for us to have cancer, uh, for example, some things needs to happen to the body first. Like for example, your pancreas is not working for 2 years already, because when you eat meats 3 times a day, the pancreas is responsible for digestion, to digest the protein and fat. What's going to happen, other function of the pancreas is to go after the abnormal cells like tumors, anything that doesn't belong to your body. And if you eat animal product 3 times a day, you're not giving a chance for your body to clean up the tumors or abnormal cells. And another thing, for in order for the person to have a cancer, on the area that she has the cancer or he has the cancer, there is no oxygenate on that area, because here we can see the microcytosis, the red blood cell is smaller, so that's mean the body is not oxygenate. And another thing, when the person has COPD, so that's mean a disease, the lungs is in trouble, they cannot provide oxygen properly for the red blood cells. Next one. Now we're going to see what causes microcytosis. First is nutritional deficiency, poor digestion, leaky gut, and some drugs. Like, for example, here we see those drugs like anti-cancer, anti-rheumatic, phenylbutazone, sulfasaline, and cotrimoxazole. Okay, some medications, and here has more medications that can make your red blood cells go smaller, because those medications, it's toxic. That's why interferes with the high blood cell. The next one here, it's poikilocytes. This one, the red cell normal is like this, and this is regular red blood cells, look like a bottle cap. Bottle cap is you're gonna see, like for example, if we take one drop of your blood and put it under a microscope, we can see like 30 minutes after you drink a cup of coffee or a cup of alcohol, your blood is already like that. It lost the shape because the electrolytes, the magnet camp like around. So in 30 minutes, you can check your blood. You have those things and crystals in your blood, like sodas, coffee, alcohol will do that. Next one. And what causes bottle cap red blood cells looking like? The poikilocytes. As the person, if you have, like for example, if you have a bad diet every single day, you have acidic blood, then you're going to have a poor circulation, low energy, and precoce aging, because you don't have the red blood cells normal to oxygenate the body. Next one. Causes of poikilocytes. So prescription drug could do that, illegal drugs could do that, lipid peroxidation, or free radicals unsaturated fatty acids. What is this here, free radicals? Like, for example, if I drink a soda, I'm going to create free radicals of water. And to neutralize, I need vitamin C. And if I eat fried food, I'm going to create free radicals of fat. To neutralize, I need vitamin E. So, what is free radicals? Oxidation of the cell and then kills the cell. And foods additives, they're cigarettes, tobacco, environment chemicals, radiation, and toxins. Like being exposed by 5G, 6G will be a problem too. Next one, echinocytes. So this is sharp burrs or spikes, look like spikes. And this is the red blood cell normal. Now let's see what causes when your blood goes like that. Next. So echinocytes is not a good thing. It's look like spikes and coming out from the red blood cell, and they are dying. Like we're supposed to lose 1% of our blood, but in this echinocytes is not a good thing to have in your blood because means the cell is dying, the red blood cell. The clients with spleen surgically removed 2%, they would have this kind of echinocytes. But when they have surgically removed the spleen. Next one, causes of echinocytes. So prescription drugs elevates the echinocytes. Free radicals, we saw that's oxidation of the cell by a wrong diet, make the blood acidic. Toxins, excessive alcohol, spleen stress, lack of essential nutrients, and excessive echinocytes. When this happens, the person won't have no energy because the red blood cells, it has a different shape, so they cannot provide oxygenate properly for the body, for the organs and tissue, organs, and the body and brain. Weak liver function and weak cell reproduction. The next one. Now we're going to see another kind of cell. It's called schistocytes. This one, red blood cells with damaged cell. You see, they lost totally the shape. They look different, unusual shape. And this is the normal red blood cell. The next one, let's see what causes that abnormal shape cell. Here we're going to see that, it's when you work with fumes like chemicals. Like if you work in a factory that has a lot of chemicals, you can have that. Smog, tobacco, and when you have excessive the abnormal cells, you're going to have low energy, fatigue, and disease. So you'll be sick because your blood lost the structure. Now, next one. Here this one is called teardrops. This is a bad one. This means the person has cancer. Look, the red blood cell has the shape of the blood, a tear. You see the look like a tear? Yeah, that's called Diana cells. It means the person has cancer. Yes. This one is called protein linkage. So that means protein linkage is the first indication that the body ability to digest is impaired. So the person cannot digest the food. Protein linkage is characterized by blood, by red blood lemon shape. Look like a lemon. This one, you see? You see the difference? It look like a lemon, but this is teardrops. This is Diana, and this is the protein linkage. So they are different. So this probably is a blood of a person with cancer already, because it has teardrops. 1, 2, 3. It has some teardrops on it. Okay, so just by looking the blood under a microscope, we can know a lot about a person, because what shows on the bloods, I can see what they eat and what kind of disease they might have. So this person would have low oxygen and fatigue. Next one, what causes protein linkage? The next one. would be excessive protein or animal protein. So that means this person eat the diet could be a ketogenic diet, only animal protein can do that. Poor digestion, imbalanced pancreas, excessive stress, and blood toxicity. Because when you eat heavily animal products, you're gonna have acidic blood, and you're gonna have a lot of purine on the blood, and you're gonna have gout, and it's gonna be hard on your kidneys too. The next one here is called Rolio. They are stuck together. We're not supposed to be like that. They're supposed to be apart because they have a field that separates. They cannot agglutinate. When they are like that, so means the person has acidic diet. Stuck, they are stuck the red blood cells. And the symptoms will be fatigue, short of breath, cannot, those red blood cells cannot carry oxygen, and put stress on the heart because they are all together cramping, so they cannot pass through the microcirculation. They cannot pass to the microcirculation. Cold hands, cold feet, poor circulation. So this one will cause the hands and the feet to be cold because the microcirculation, they cannot go through the microcirculation. The next one, what causes that? We're going to see the first one, dehydration. Dehydration, or if you drink cokes, coffee, alcohol. Protein linkage, like when your stomach is not digesting the food properly. Usually that could happen, like if you taking pills for GERD, like that lowers the gastric juice. So that's mean you're not digesting the food because you lower the gastric juice, and then you can have a protein linkage. Poor digestion induce agents, plasma, fibrinogen, immunoglobulins, low oxygen, less gas exchange, wrong diet for one's blood type. A, O, B, AB can agglutinate the blood. This one that about the blood is very interesting. Like for example, a person that's type O, this type O blood, as they have ancestors as indigenous ancestors, and for over since the flood, they still live in tribals, so they don't eat the food the way we eat. They eat only animal protein and some things that they eat. So if we can like mix, when we are mixing type O, they do better in protein, but doesn't mean that you can have animal product. You can have plant-based protein. So your body would be another thing. Type O is intolerant to alcohol. Type was intolerance because the Indians, they didn't drink alcohol, and they eat a lot of meat, so they have the food is totally different from our foods. And so if you know what type of blood you are, so you learn about what the foods that fits well your stomach. Like for example, I am type O, but I prefer like plant-based protein. Okay, next one. Erythrocyte aggregation. When this is going to happen, that means the blood is sluggish, so it's dirty, like thick. Causes erythrocytes aggregation. Long-term exposure to stress, toxic environment. So like for example, people who works in factory that is being exposed to fumes and chemicals, they can have this every single day, so they can have a sluggish blood. Next one. And here thrombocytes aggregation is it's a abnormal grouping of red blood cells. What causes thrombocytes aggregation? Next. When you have high triglycerides, like for example, when you see triglycerides on your blood work, like for example, the normal is 150, but when you have 300 above, it's literally your blood is fat. Like if you put it under the microscope, that is like a butter. And when you have 600, you put a lot of stress on your heart. And how we get this fat on your blood? Like, really, triglycerides is what you eat one day before. Like, if you get up at night, a bowl of popcorn with butter, or eat pizza, or a cup of alcohol, the next day your triglycerides is 300, 400. But if your liver is not working, some like familiar liver problem, they have triglycerides very high and liver enzymes very high. Then they have to take some medication to correct this problem. But a triglycerides literally is what you eat one day before. Like one time came a patient with 400, and the cardiologist wants to put him on statins. And then I knew that patient never had the triglycerides elevate, was always 150 or below. And then I say, what did you eat yesterday? He say, oh, I had a bowl of ice cream. And then I say, okay, eat salads 6 p.m., like salads for a few days, and then go do another blood work. And then when he came with other blood work, was normal. Was just because the night before he ate a bowl of ice cream. And another thing, when you drink excessive consumption of caffeine, you're going to have thrombocytes aggregation, excessive consumption of carbonate beverage like sodas, like Coke, or even those Coke Zero. It's a problem. Anything that is artificial, your body doesn't know what to do with. You're doing a fatty liver. Everybody that is drinking artificial sugar, is better for you to drink the regular one that your body knows what to do than anything artificial, because the body cannot recognize that, and you're gonna have a fatty liver without being alcoholic or without medication. And then low consumption of omega-3 fatty acids and dehydration. Next one. And here, the blood is supposed to be clean. It's supposed not to have bacteria, but sometimes we can see the blood under microscope. You can see some bacteria. Here's some samples of bacteria: Coccobacillus, Streptobacillus, Diplobacillus, and Bacillus. So we're not supposed to have any bacteria on your blood or parasites. But if you have, we have to give you protease for you to clean your blood, like 3 capsules in the morning and 3 capsules bedtime to clean your blood. And now the next one, your blood should be clean too. The next one. Here, this called fibrins. When you do the test called CRP, creatine and homocysteine, and the other markers, when you have too much those things, is inflammation in your blood. And those fibrins is when you eat like too much white flour, actually it's foods that you're not supposed to be eating, and that's inflammation. And that's one you can clean up with protease too. Okay, that's how this is inflammation, extremely inflamed blood. Next one. Causes of fibrin congestion. So that's mean the person is not digesting the food, is not absorbing the food properly. So it's a congestion. It's good when you congested that you're not processing the food. It's better for you to go like a 1 or 2 days juicing to give a break for your stomach to reset, because you're really not digesting the food. Acidification of connective tissues. So that's mean you're going to have body aches. And liver stress, toxic bowel, inflammation in the bowel. So that's mean you have a lot of trash accumulate on the bowels. How we accumulate trash in the bowel, on the intestines? For example, if you eat white flour, gluten, you don't digest that, will accumulate on the intestine, and Another thing that will accumulate there because we cannot digest is the processed cheese. Will be accumulated there too. And then you're going to have a lot of waste material in your gut. And that's, depending how old this waste material is, will cause a lot of toxicity, like it will make your blood dirty. Okay. So, and causes inflammation too. Next one. Here's crystal. Has to do with the diets too, like caffeine will make crystals too. Crystals that resemble broken glass are more serous and crystalline structure. These formations are actually triglycerides or atherosclerotic plaques. So we're not supposed to have crystals on your blood. Yes, it's triglycerides. So it's as a sign of triglycerides. Now the next one. So we have different kinds of crystal. We have trapezoid shape formation. Usually it's indicator that we have high cholesterol. So you're going to have like maybe 300 cholesterol or LDL elevate. Actually, cholesterol, a long time ago, the old books, the normal is 200 plus your age. But the thing that you're not supposed to have elevate is LDL and no LDL C. That one that you cannot have elevate, or the triglycerides. Orange or brown crystals is indicative that you have a liver or gallbladder problem. And red crystals is indicative that you have chemicals or metal toxicity. You see, everything tells you just by the color what's going on with you. Blue crystals is a thyroid imbalance. And if you find the yellow crystals in your blood, it's uric acid production. So when you have yellow crystals in your blood, so that person is going to have what? What disease? Gout. Is going to have gout. And usually they are eating too much white bread or too much meat. Purine. Next, the crystals. The white crystals can indicate kidney imbalance. Circular crystals, square-shaped crystals. So we have the different kinds of shapes of crystal. Large amounts of crystals show imbalance force with the body, and all attempts should be made to promote homeostatic intervention. So that's mean we're not supposed to have any kind of crystals in the body. The crystals is really related to or malfunction of the organ, like kidney or liver, or really diet. Now the next one is we almost finished. It's called protoplasts. It's a colloid syncplasts. It's a cell without nucleus. So that means the cell without, this is the red blood cell normal. So this one, protoplast, doesn't have this round shape inside. Lost totally the shape. And this is the red blood cell normal. You see, you can see the nucleus inside. And here there is no nucleus. Next one. And now we see different protoplasts. We have the spheroplasts, denotes a round formation. Then we have fibrils like a thallus. And then we have cryptocytes, Livingstone Wheeler. So this is the different types of protoplasts. Next one. So when you see protoplasts in the blood, you saw that the red blood cell lost the nucleus. There is no nucleus, and they can be, like we saw, rounds, thallus, and cryptocytes. So this suggests that the pH is off. So that's mean probably this person has acidic pH below 7. And low oxygenation, immune system compromised. So probably this person has autoimmune disease and also degenerative disease implication. like is disease exhibiting increased numbers of protoplastic elements are numerous. So that's mean if we find this under the microscope, the person might have AIDS, scleroderma, or infectious arthritis. AIDS actually is the same disease as leukemia. What changes the course of disease is the treatment that they give, but it's the same thing as leukemia. So you don't have to die from HIV or AIDS. It's just it's really leukemia. It's the treatment that takes the wrong turn. Okay, we finished for today, and I hope you had learned a little bit more. And we are what we eat. So we saw if we pick it up a drop of your blood and put it under the microscope, what shows there will tell me what you're eating and what kind of disease you might have. And thank you for watching. Until the next time.